Supernatural Season 13, Episode 5, Advanced Thanatology. This was definitely a great episode. It was a bit of a surprise. Of course, the first half of the episode was fairly normal. Going through it, it was like, okay, we have, a legitimate monster of the week. We knew that it was just going to be Sam and Dean dealing with the case. And as things kind of went on, I was like, okay, I realized after a certain amount of time, there was no other story. It wasn't like, oh, we're seeing what's happening with Cass, or we're seeing, what's going on with Jack back at the bunker. It was just Sam and Dean. I was like, okay, well, this is, just legitimately a Monster of the Week episode, kind of a filler episode, not really dealing with any sort of epic things. And they showed some stuff, as far as the recap, where it's like, then, and they have Billy show up and her dying, and some of the things she said to Sam and Dean, like, next time you guys die, that's pretty much it. Like, you were going to be gone. And I was wondering, I was like, okay, that could relate to Sam and Dean dying in this episode, and I was like, alright, well, that will be interesting to see who they deal with next, because Billy was like the big thing in the last season, where every time they died, she was the one that showed up and was like, I almost got you this time. So I thought, okay, they're going to introduce that next person, or, whatever's going to happen, because this will be the first time one of them has died since, all that madness. And I was like, okay, so it could be that. It could be that Billy's coming back. But I was like, I personally couldn't figure out, like, oh, I don't think it'll be that, because my thought was she'd be in the empty. So it was like, all right, well, they'd have to it would be a bit of a stretch to get her, because then it would be like, well, why would Jack have any relation to her? Why would, that happen? So I was curious, and I was just like, all right, that's happening. As the episode continues on, admittedly, I had already forgotten about the recap that they had at the beginning of the episode. And then it gets to, I think it was like the 24-minute mark, and the ghost is destroyed. Like, they burn all the masks, and he goes up in flames, and I was like, oh, and I paused, and I was like, this is like halfway through the episode. This should be very interesting, because I can't think of what could possibly happen next. And then it starts off fairly simple. It's like, okay, we have all these ghosts that are still being tormented, and, they need to find a way to burn the bodies and kind of let the souls go to rest. So Dina's like, all right, well, I'm just going to go ahead and, stop my heart. Just kick it back up in 3 minutes, everything will be great. I'll get the information, we'll find the bodies, we'll burn the bodies, the spirits can rest, everything will be solved. No big deal. I'm like, alright, so this is where things have to happen. So of course he kills himself, and, this Reaper comes up, and she's talking about, I'm here to take you on to the next path. He's like, it's cool, like, I'm Dean, and it's fine. And so he walks past, and then we see her go to this random location where all we see are just, like, it's W on the wall, and I was like, that can't just be for Winchesters. Like, and of course it ends up being that. And I was so curious what it actually was, and we actually get the explanation from Billy that it's not every time that they have died, and like the combined deaths of Sam, Dean, and I assume their father, because I was like, that can't all be for just one person, but it's all the, like, possible deaths, which is very interesting. It's like every possibility of how they can die is in that, like, that vault, and I thought that was actually a really cool concept. But we have this woman say, like, Dean Winchester is inside the veil, and I was like, okay, so of course she's sharing that information, and it was like, well, she's sharing it, I thought, with just other Reapers. And then we find out that Billy not only is alive, but as the person, or as the Reaper that died after, as the first Reaper that died after death, she became the new Grim Reaper. And I thought that was awesome. Like, she is officially the new version of Death. And one of the biggest moments in this episode was something that was so weird to me, because when she shows up, it was like, oh, that's super cool. She has like they made her like a new type of scythe and everything. It looks really sweet. She's got, her whole outfit and everything. And then she takes off the gloves, and they have a point to focus on the fact that she has a ring. And I was like, okay, interesting. They focus on the fact that she had a new ring. And obviously the last time the rings of the Four Horsemen really came into play was season 5. And I was like, is that coming back? Is there going to be like a new version of it? Like the new rings with new Reapers, or, it's not going to be a Reaper for the other Horsemen, but these new versions have new powers. Like the rings have new abilities or capabilities or something like that. And it was just like, they made a focus on the fact that she had a ring, and it had, like, it was basically a pearl in the middle of it. And I was like, okay, that shouldn't be a part of the reveal. As far as I'm concerned, I was just thinking, holy crap, there's a new death, and it's Billy. That was the reveal. And then the part where she puts her hand around, the scythe and it's a new ring, I was like, is that going to be important again? Are they bringing that back? Does that mean we're going to get to see another version of war and famine and I believe it's pestilence is the other one. It depends. There's sometimes it changes, sometimes it's strife. So it was like, is that what's happening? Is that what they're hinting at for the future? Because they showed the ring and I was like, huh. I guess I never considered that because of course you have Death was always this one character, and at the time when they were dealing with the whole process of getting rid of Lucifer, it was like, okay, boom, here you go. I don't really like Lucifer that much. Here's my ring, and that was it. And I never thought, oh, maybe the rings will come back later or anything like that, because I was never thinking there would be the next version of Death or anything like that. So it was very interesting, and I was like, okay, I don't know. It could mean nothing. It could just be like, every version of Death has their own ring, like just how she has her own version of the scythe. Every new incarnation will get a new ring, which I would assume could bring back the possibility of opening up that portal if that means that there is a new version of war out there and another version of pestilence and famine or strife. So it just made me curious because they had a focus on the ring, if that's going to play a part in possibly opening up the portal. Like if they utilize the rings this time and it's not just the ring's power, but the power of the rings mixed with Jack's power, maybe that will allow them to manually open up the portal to the other dimension, because before the rings opened up the portal to hell straight to the to the cage. So maybe in this regard they could use Jack's ability to use the power of the ring or channel his power into the rings, and then they'll open up a portal to the other dimension. So I wanted to throw that theory out there because I was like, she has a new ring. They did like a whole zoom in, like the whole shot was like the center of the screen was her ring, her new ring. So wanted to kind of talk about that because I don't know, it could mean nothing, it could mean something, but I wanted to throw my theory out there because I was like, that is a very interesting thing to focus on, and maybe it actually has some relevance for what they're going to be doing as far as how they end up ultimately getting back to this alternate dimension. But Billy ends up taking Dean to the little library / vault that she has with all the possibilities of his death, and we get this explanation as to how, once again, how important Sam and Dean are. As always, they are the ones who are meant to save everything and stop all evil, or call some of the evil, but stop it later. And it's just another moment of that, and it's a really grand moment too, because you have Billy who really wanted them dead, wanted them gone, thrown into the empty, and just done. Like that's what she wanted, and now it's like my eyes have been opened to the usefulness, she said, not only of humans but of Sam and Dean, which I thought was interesting. She mentioned like humans specifically are also useful, but these two specific humans in Sam and Dean are very useful, and so they cannot, you can't just give up unless it's kind of written in the books already. So, she mentioned how that kind of pissed her off a little, which makes perfect sense because it's Sam and Dean. But it was like, all right, well, what the heck does that mean? What is it that they're going to be stopping now that's going to be this next monumental, epic, final grand threat, if it's going to be the final grand threat? So it's just really crazy at this point trying to figure out what in the world is going on. But there's something that they're supposed to do, and Billy knows their relevance, but it's, with it being TV, we can't get all the answers. It's just, you're important. That's all you need to know right now, because I can't tell you why you're important or what's coming next. So that was a crazy way to kind of end the episode out, and ultimately Dean decides that he wants to die. Like the point of this episode was, at least for Sam, was treating Dean like super nice. He gives him the beer in the morning, he's trying to go to the strip club and everything like that. And he's treating him super well because of everything that Dean said. It was like, I kind of need you to be the happy one because I'm not. Like, things just suck for me right now. We got Jack, who I kind of hate. We lost Cass. We lost Mom. We lost Crowley. We've lost pretty much everything. Technically, it kind of sucks right now. Like, things are just bad. So Sam is trying to, be the upbeat one. And by the time Dean really gets the opportunity at the end, he does just want to die, which is why he was so drastic about using the needle in the first place, where it's like, maybe I can solve this problem, but, if it doesn't happen to work, then so be it. I'm fine dying. And, Billy realizes that and is like, no, that's kind of just not where it is right now. And so, even though he wants to die, he's not allowed to in this episode, and naturally he will not die. And well, who knows how the series will actually end. I wouldn't be surprised if Sam and Dean ultimately ended up going to heaven or something like that. But For now, he's not allowed. And he actually does talk to Sam about it, even though, of course, he tried to do his normal Dean move where it's like, oh, we'll talk about it later. And Sam was like, we won't talk about it later, so we should talk about it now. And he just tells him everything. Like, yep, turns out Billy is the new Death. So, that's probably not the greatest for us. And also, we're important for some crazy reason. And that's pretty much all they got. They have really nothing. That's all there is to it. So, definitely a crazy second half. I enjoyed the first half as well. The comedy was definitely great with, especially the part with like Dean being drunk and like doing the breakfast and everything. So the first half was still really good, but the second half was just like crazy twist after crazy twist. Because I was like, okay, I didn't really know if they were gonna do the Billy thing being resurrected, but it just made perfect sense. It was like if Death is killed, the first Reaper to die after that will basically take over. And I was like, that's actually a really cool concept. That's just a really cool idea. And then the revelation of Sam and Dean being so oddly important, but of course we can't find out why. So there's a lot of cool stuff that happened, especially in that second half. But the first half was still entertaining as well. And of course, the actual end of this episode, Cass ends up calling Dean. And so Sam and Dean are reunited with Cass. And now we're going to get to see our whole group together now, because we get Sam, Dean, Jack, as well as Cass. And even in the promo, they already had, there's like one shot where they showed Jack actually dressed just like Cass. And I was like, that makes perfect sense, because with Cass coming in, Jack is going to kind of see him as his father. Like, even though he knows Lucifer is his father, Cass was the one that he had that attachment to because of Kelly. So I'm really looking forward to that in the next episode. It also seems like it's going to be really funny with Dean like losing his mind over the whole cowboy thing. So all in all, I'm really looking forward to this next episode. Even if it's not really advancing the story, I think the next episode is really going to be character-based, and that's kind of why I'm looking forward to it the most, because we have, of course, Cass coming back, so that's going to have a huge impact on Sam, and of course on Dean, because it's like, holy crap, this is a guy who, they've done it multiple times where Dean has shown how much Cass really meant to them, where he is one of their, he is Dean's older brother. So with him coming back to life, that's that one extra step, and then it's like, crap, it's Cass. And so, that might bring a little bit of hope back for him as far as their mom. But we'll have to wait and, kind of see how that plays out. Once again, still nothing from the other dimension as far as what is going on with Mary and Lucifer. So every week that it doesn't happen, I'm just like, oh, I want to see what happened. Because it ended on a crazy fight with Lucifer fighting this other version of Michael. So every week we don't get it, I'm just like losing my mind about what in the world we're going to see when we finally get back to that. So hopefully that does happen next week. I assume that there will be a side story next week, unless they kind of do it like this, where it's like the first half is one thing and then the second half is like kind of the main story component. But I think with the next episode having Cass like coming into play, I feel like they might actually be able to do two stories just with the characters alone. But hopefully we do get to see some stuff. I would love to see what's going on with Asmodeus, because he's like our new big bad. So I want to see what's going on with him. Of course, I want to see what's going on in the other dimension as well. But really looking forward to Cass rejoining the team and how that's going to impact his character when he meets Jack, how Jack's character is going to be impacted when he sees Cass for the first time. So, or I guess alive for the first time. So there's a lot to look forward to in this next episode. So I'm really happy about that, especially because I'm reviewing this so late because I was out of town. That episode for me comes on tonight, so I didn't really have to. I waited like a couple of days because I watched this episode like a few days ago. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for this episode tonight. But of course, would love to know what you guys thought about this one. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it, and I want to know what you guys thought about Billy officially coming back as the new version of Death. I thought that was just a super epic way to have a character pretty much come back from the dead. It was like you have a character that, it should have just been game over for this woman, where she gets stabbed by Cass, and then that's it. And it's just like, dang, she's gone. And then she comes back, not only just comes back, but she comes back as Death. It was just insane. Because like when I was watching, I was like freaking out, like, I am not worthy to watch this show. It's just too sweet. But it's such a great way to bring a character back, and it just makes sense. Like the role that she played before was relevant, and now, and like I said, it's just a theory with the whole new set of rings and how that might play out. Even if it's just hers, there's still something to that. Like the fact that she knows more than she ever knew before, it shows that there's like this hierarchy to, like, if you're at a certain level, you instantaneously get certain information. Like she knows stuff about the future. So I feel like them showing off the ring will have some impact. It might not be the same as like opening up a portal, but I just think it makes sense. The original set of rings opened up a portal to hell, and now that they have this alternate dimension, there you go. And of course, she was asking about that as well, where it's like, that's kind of like the one blind spot that I have, so you can imagine how it might bug me. So, I don't know what it means, but man, it was great to have her come back. I loved it. Great reveal, and I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of her character, because I feel like we'll see her again this season now that she's been officially revealed, because she's still looking for a way to get to that alternate dimension and just all the madness that's kind of incorporated with that. So I would love to know how you guys are feeling about her return, and of course I would love to know whatever theories you guys have about either the ring or just in general what Billy is going to kind of contribute to the story, what part she'll now play as the new version of Death. And naturally, I just want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.